Welcome to From Rock Bottom, the podcast where we explore real stories of struggle, survival, and strength. Each weekly episode features honest conversations with people who faced mental health battles, addiction, trauma, and life's darkest moments, and found a way to rise again. A quick content warning: some of the topics we discuss may be distressing or triggering. We talk openly about mental health, addiction, and other sensitive issues. Please listen with care, and if you need to, take a break or reach out for support. You're not alone, and this space is here to remind you of that.
Boom, and we are on. Today I'm joined by a British boxing great, Andy Flute, and he's going to share with us his story, how he went from the back pages for his boxing triumphs to the front pages of every newspaper for his self-destruction. Andy, how are you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
Good man, thank you for coming here today.
You're welcome, my pleasure.
It's a story I've been looking forward to. You've got your book, which obviously is available to buy, we'll talk about at the end. But just like everyone, mate, I'd like to start from the start, take me back to your childhood.
I had a great childhood. My dad took me to the gym as a three-year-old. My dad was into the scrap business. We had a scrap yards, horses, stables. On day when I never wanted to go to school, just wanted to go to work with my dad. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So therefore I went to work with my dad. You know what I mean? Yeah. My dad was a good boxer. My uncle was a good boxer, and my brother, so I followed them to the gym. And childhood was good growing up, like, you know. But I hated school. I never wanted to go to school. You know what I mean? I just couldn't sit in a class and just, you know, I always wanted to be off playing or off doing stuff with your hands. I couldn't concentrate. You know, I mean, I don't like doing it. You know, I had to go, obviously. But I'd sooner been at work with my dad or, you know, spending time with him. Like, yeah. But childhood was good, to be honest. Yeah.
Obviously, you're from a different generation where it's tough, ready, good to go. So mental health growing up was like, did you ever see anything with your own eyes, like, or was it just everyone hard faced, hard focused?
Yeah, I never seen nothing like that.
Yeah.
You know, I knew people about, I knew people like from the boxing gyms and stuff like that, but I never, mental health wasn't really talked about that much then.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was a very unknown thing.
It was just like, a lot of people looked down on people as well if they said that they was weak or something like that, if they had problems like that back in them days.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Had no choice but to be strong.
Yeah. You know, but no, childhood was good, and in them days, you know, it was just a bit of a different era to what it is now, ain't it?
Of course,
you know
yeah.
I mean?
Yeah. So your dad was a boxer, your uncle was a boxer, you was knocking about, and then you got into boxing at the age of 11.
I was in the gym from the age of 3 or 4. Yeah. But I was only old enough to fight when I was 11.
Yeah.
The ABA rules.
Yeah.
And me dad boxed on the same night once as well.
Yeah.
And father and son. And I've only done that.
Yeah. So tell me about your ABAs and the early career.
Yeah, early career. My first fight was at the Park Hall, Wolverhampton. Boxed a kid named Paul Flood. He had 6 fights, won 5. Beat him easy. You know, I hadn't had a fight. But I've been training, you know, with my dad and my uncle. My uncle was a professional, so I was training with the pros at Wolverhampton gym. Like, you know, there was Cliff Gilpin there, Mick Morris, Lloyd Christie, Gary Rocky Roberts, and I was just watching them and nice to spar with a few of them as well. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, you know, by the time I was ready to for my first fight, I was chomping at the bit, like I was more than ready. Do you know what I mean? You know. When
you got the first few wins under your belt, was that something you was like, this is me now, I want to turn pro?
My second fight, I boxed on Queensbury show for Sam Donnelly, and then I stopped the kid, I knocked him through the ropes, and then knocked his head through the ropes, and the referee had to pull me off him because I wanted to kill him. I mean, I was told, pain's better than points. Yeah. You know what I mean? I had that aggression in me straight away. I wanted to kill him. Yeah. You know what I mean? I'd stopped at nothing. The referee had to pull me off him, and that when I was only young. Do you know what I mean? I was that aggressive. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And that carried on. Then that stayed with me all the way through my career.
The aggression.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Was that something you could see yourself doing from that point? You was like, this is for me.
Yeah, I went in the championships. So I had I went in the championships the next year, and I think I had 4 first round knockouts on the way up to the Midland finals.
Hands of steel.
Because I used to want to hit him hard in the first round. Because often, my dad used to say to me, because my dad was my coach, he used to say, hit him hard in the first round. And for a kid, I was strong. Do you know what I mean? I could punch.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. And it paid off a lot of times.
Yeah, you don't get paid for overtime.
You know what I mean? And I like the feeling, I like to see him hurt.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? Like, once I smelled blood, I was like, a red flag to a bull.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I'd kill you, man. I was like, whatever, do whatever you still got to do to win.
Yeah. So then you went on to represent England. International level.
Yeah. I carried on boxing, won titles, schoolboy titles, junior titles, National Association of Boys Club titles, won more or less everything there is. And then boxing for England was a good honour. I was called up to box for England. It was great. Training at Crystal Palace with all the England team. And there was all the track and field and all the athletes there, like Steve Cram, Steve Olvett and all them, like that was all there as well. Do you know what I mean? So it was good to be mixing with all that sort of stuff as well. It was a great experience, and I learnt a lot, to be honest, boxing on the England team.
Yeah.
Training with the different England coaches. It was a good experience.
What's the highlight for you from that?
My best win was when I went to Germany and I captained the team. And the England coach said to me, he said, Andy, don't throw all your ice in the first round. But my dad, who's my coach, before I left, my dad said, hit him hard in the first round, like I did in me,
and it's always worked, yeah.
And I went to the middle of the ring, and instead of looking at him in the face, because I didn't want him to see my strength, so I put my head down, you know what I mean? So he couldn't see the strength in me. And then I put my head, and then I didn't look at him, and the ref, shake hands, and then I walk back to the corner. And the ref, and my corner bloke, Kelvin Thomas, he said, Andy, he said, just don't throw your ice in the first round. And I thought, fuck that, I'm going to kill him, man. You know what I mean? And I just stormed out. Yeah. And I put it on him and I stopped him inside about 40 seconds. I mean, as soon as I smelled blood, I hit him with the left hook to the body, left hook to the head, run round, I whipped him round, and I see him grimace like that, and I know I'd got him. And I mean, I was fucking unloaded on him, and he was finished, man. And I just saluted to the Germans like that. There was like 20,000 Germans, and you know what? They give me a standing ovation. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? They was clapping, man.
That's good, yeah, they recognise the Jews, didn't they?
Yeah,
the Jews, yeah.
That was my best victory. But I did have some good victories for England as well. I know a few other victories. I knocked the Bulgarian champion out in the second round as well.
How was it for you representing England?
It was good, it was great. In the back then, to have the national anthem played and everything else was good, and it was a great experience. And they made me captain, in a way. Which was good, like. Yeah. And the one time I boxed 2 days on the trot, as well.
How was your friends and families around you at this point? Like, was
they were supportive, behind me, like. Yeah. Because it was my dad as well. Yeah. And then when I left school, I got expelled from school, and I went to work in the scrapyard for my dad. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So my dad was my hero as well, sort of thing. We boxed on the same night together. He was my boss as well, because we've got a big scrap business, you know what I mean?
And he's literally taught you everything
and he's a tough man himself. He was a proper tough, hard man. Do you know what I mean?
How come you got expelled from school?
I was just naughty, you know what I mean? I locked the blokes in the ball ass and stuff like that. I was just,
just pissing about.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I was just naughty, man.
Yeah.
I had to have a desk outside the deputy headmaster's office, because they wouldn't let me in the class. I was too disruptive. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And then I was throwing bubble gum at the teachers and stuff like that, you know what I mean? Stuck in their head, and I wasn't a bully or nothing like that. If I see anybody being bullied, I'd stick up for them. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? But I was cock of the school in the third year. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I said the first year, to be honest.
Do you know what I mean? But, it was good times, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, just disruptive. Yeah, boys being boys, isn't it?
Yeah, good times, honest. Having a laugh and that. But and then boxing for England, was good times, you know what I mean? Good times. But, it was, and I look back now, I'm quite older, like, but, you look back and you think, well, I could have done this different, I could have done that different, do you know what I mean? But I did some things right, you know what I mean? Yeah, and you're boxing for the country and captain the country. Like. I boxed the world amateur champion as well, Raymond Garvey from Cuba. He was the world #1. And I fought the day before, he had a bye, and I fought him, and I lost on a 3-2 decision majority. Some people thought I won it, and that was the world #1, so that tells you the level you're at. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Raymond Garvey from Cuba, he was the world #1, you can Google him. Do you know what I mean? He was a world amateur champion in the world, and I'd fought the day before, and then I lost on a 3-2 split decision to him. So that tells you the level, that's the elite level as amateur, ain't it?
Yeah,
Do you
yeah,
know
of
what I mean?
course, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
What kind of boxer was you? Like, I know, but for everyone else.
I could fight it all different ways, because you call it to be a one-trick pony.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You've got to be able to learn, the box at distance, or be able to fight or mix it up and all that as well. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? You've got to, I also like to get behind the jab and like control things from a distance. Do you know what I mean? But if I had to get stuck in, then I'd have to get stuck in. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I would put, my preference was to box behind my jab.
Yeah.
Pick my shots.
So obviously Cubans are famous for being incredible boxers.
Yeah.
Very slick.
Yeah. And he jumped over the top rope, before Chris Eubank had ever done it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It was, honestly, and he went, Cuba. Like that, I thought, here we go. Do you know what I mean? It was a close fight, man. You know what I mean? I ain't going to say but he was already the world.
He held your own, so.
Yeah, mate, he held me home. He was like a split decision.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But me personally, because he was long and rangy, he was about 6'4", and I think he did score a couple of more points in the last round. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I like boxing taller people than myself. I liked them shorter.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because with the tall guys, you've got to get underneath the
and they should step back with the jab.
Inside, you got to parry or whatever else and miss the first one to get inside.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's a good experience. Then they picked me for the Olympics and all that. Do you know what I mean? I was picked for the Olympics. You know what I mean? But when I was Sport England, there was no funding, no nothing. And I thought, I've already boxed that many times for England. There's nothing else for me to do. I've won everything there is to do. My dad's got a good scrap business and everything else. I was doing well financially and as well. So I just thought, well, you know what, I'm going to get pro, man. I went pro early.
Yeah, 19.
Yeah, because I wanted to make a mark.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But looking back now, I wish I would have got to the Olympics. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No.
But before you turned pro, you found alcohol at 17.
Yeah, I started celebrating my victories with having a drink of alcohol. I liked it. It done something for me that I was, of course, I was instantly, but I liked the taste of it. I liked the feeling of it. And the one time I got the England team drunk when we went on a multinations tournament. I was with about 4 Scousers, Tony Costello, Lee Rimmer and John Hayes. And after the tournament had finished, we went out on the drink and all that, you know what I mean? But they couldn't really drink because I was a drinker, you know.
Yeah.
The one guy had to turn him over, Tony. God bless him. He's been to Iraq in the Falklands and everything. He's a great guy. I'm still in touch with him. And he said, Andy, you saved my life, man, because I turned him over and he was being sick.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And but we got the taste for alcohol then. We're boxing for England.
Yeah. But was it just celebrating victories, or did it get more frequent than that?
It was celebrating victories to start with, you know what I mean? And then, just like any normal teenager, just like any young lad, you know what I mean? You start having a drink on the weekend.
Yeah.
And you start going out. Like we've all done that, haven't we?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
You know what I mean? We've all done that.
Of course.
You know?
Just being your age.
Yeah, and I like the taste of it. I liked it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And I liked it, man. And that was it. It followed me all the way through my career after that, to be honest.
At those early stages when you was first drinking, how was you when you was drinking alcohol? Like, how was your behaviour? You as a person?
I was okay to start with, but then as the time went on, I started to get a bit leery, and then I was like a bit of an aggressive type.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Stuff like that. But it was my friend for many years.
Yeah.
I had so many good times. Do you know what I mean?
It's always there.
You know
good and bad times.
Going on holiday and that stuff like that, and going to Ibiza and Corfu and all that. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. It was a great, good times. But mixing it with boxing, ain't the best. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like you're binging on drink, and I'm expecting your body to win your fights. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can get away with it for so long, you know what I mean? But when you're young, you think, I think I'm strong, I'm tough, you know what I mean? I think I can get away with it, like. But I know if I'd have that far to drink, I would have done a lot better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
How bad did your drinking get during your active career?
Well, this is someone else. Some people might agree, some people might not agree. with my amateur career, I don't never suffer cuts around the eyes, but I don't drink then.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Now, when I turned professional, I was drinking all the time, going out drinking boss weekends and drinking, and then I started cutting. And some of my early defeats as a professional was because of cut eyes. And I believe that it was the drink what made my skin soft.
Yeah, finish your blood.
Yeah, because I did cuts as amateur, like 100 amateur fights. You know what I mean? No problem, no cuts, no nothing, boxing and best of everything. You know what I mean? And then whether it was the transformation from the amateur game to the professional game, I don't know, but I believe it was the alcohol.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Definitely.
Before we come back to the alcohol, you sparred some legends of the game. Eubank Sr, Joe Calzaghe, Nigel Benn.
Yeah, it was a great experience to be in the ring with them guys.
Yeah.
I sparred with them at all different times. When they rang me up and asked me to spar with Nigel Benn, I'd only just been professional about a couple of years, probably a year and a half. But I go, oh no, it's Nigel Benn. You know what I mean? I thought, what am I doing that? I went, oh yeah, how much?
You can test yourself as
well.
well.
How much? I want to be a world champion, so I want to try myself against a world champion.
Yeah. And
I sparred with Nigel then, and that was good. I did well. And you know what? I met a guy named Jimmy Tibbs. Have you heard of Jimmy Tibbs?
Yeah.
You know, and this is the truth. This is the truth. Jimmy Tibbs, when he first met me, he said to me, he said, Andy, he said, God's going to use you one day. And I looked at him and I was, oh, I thought he was daft. You know what I mean? And he went, God's going to use you one day. And he said, will you come to church with me tonight? Because Jimmy had been like, done 13 years for murder, and he was like, mixed up with the craze and all the stuff like that. Hard East End man, you know what I mean? And I liked him because he reminded me of my dad a bit, you know what I mean? Like a tough old fashioned guy.
Old school.
You know what I mean? So I just went to the church with him, like, you know, he picked me up and he took me. And then I don't ever think nothing of it after that, you know what I mean? But he prophesied that, you know, when I was early age, he says that God was going to use me one day.
Yeah.
And then I've done the sparring with Nigel, held me on okay, great. And then carried on boxing, winning a few more fights. And then I got a call from Eubank's trainer, giving me a spar with Chris. And that was tough, man. You know what I mean? That was tough as well, because I was a bit more seasoned professional then.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And then I had to do more. And I'll tell you, sparring with Chris was worse than fighting him, because you've got to do it every day. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he's 13 stone, 14 stone walking about. He ate down to 12 stones when he's punching harder.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And a couple of times I had to do it on my own, where there were no other sparring partner. Do you know what I mean? But I've done a lot with Chris. I've done it for about 6 world title fights. He kept asking me back. Do you know what I mean?
Why do you think that was?
Because I was pushing him, I was giving him as good as he was giving me.
Yeah.
And he was fair as well. Chris was, he'd let you come down the day before, he'd let you bring your missus down, and he looked after me, to be honest. We didn't go away if you're doing a good job.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? And I liked him. I know a lot of people don't like him, but he was firm but fair, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
The sparring was brutal, yeah, but you know, a lot of people come
Boxing's
down.
brutal.
Yeah, I'm going to mention our names, but a lot of champions come down and this is how he's sticking this, and they left, or they got put on the floor, and they couldn't cope with it, and they went. Yeah. Because he was that brutal, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So that's part of your resilience.
Well, yeah, but you know, and he thanked me live on Sky TV as well. You know what I mean? He said, Andy, he said, you've been such a great asset to me. He said, you've done. He said, what can I do for you? I said, I'll tell you what, Chris. I said, I'm doing one of your next fights. I said, on the next fight, I said, thank me on live TV, and he did. I don't know how he remembered. He did, honestly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He did thank me when I was interviewing him. He said, so I'd like to thank Andy Flute for all the sparring he's done with me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing to hear.
Yeah, I've been in touch with him since and stuff like that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was good. Then Barry Hearn come down the gym. Chris said I was his best ever sparring partner ever had. He said I'm going to be world champion. And Barry Hearn come down to the gym to watch me spar with him. And it was funny really, because the very first time Barry come down to watch, Ronnie Davies goes, time, and Chris don't throw a punch. Because Barry Hearn was there watching, so I throw a punch.
Yeah.
So we just like standing there like that. Chris went like that, you know, as he does, you know what I mean? And so I knew what he was trying to do was draw me in, like, you know what I mean? So I just stood off like that as well. So they throw a punch, for the whole round. And he was just walking around looking at me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just ate it, and I was all intimidated by him. I ain't intimidated by nobody, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I just, then the next round, he just tried to, just went for it, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, Joe Calzaghe.
It was a bit later on when I sparred with Joe.
Yeah.
I'm still in touch with Joe today. And Joe returned my book for me, you know what I mean, as well, as soon as I asked him. Joe was probably the best out of all of them, I think.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Really good, really fast. He's awkward with his southpaw style. And his dad and his mum, they made me that welcome. You know, I went down to Newbridge to that little shed of a gym where he got.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I went down on my own and sparred him on my own. You know what I mean? I mean, a lot of people wouldn't, that's bad enough just to do that and just get out of your car and get straight in the gym. You know what I mean? With somebody like that, you know what I mean? But I rate Joe the best, and I'm still in touch with him today. You know what I mean? But yeah, it was a great experience.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So while all this was going on, you was drinking?
Yeah, I was drinking every day. Every day. When I sparred with Eubank, I was out round Brighton's town every night. And Ronnie Davis used to say to me, because Eubank's trying, Andy, what are you, knuckle down? And you know, Barry Clinton's come down, offered you a lucrative deal. He said, you could be world champion. I said, Ron, I'm doing my job, ain't I? I said, Ron, I'm doing my job. He says, yeah, you're doing your job. He said, but you could do better as well.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? He said, knuckle down, you can be world champion, but I like going out. Do you know what I mean? I like the nightlife. I like messing about with girls and messing about and taking girls back to my hotel room and everything else. I loved all that razzmatazz and everything, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know.
I suppose a lot of it is like the grades.
Yeah.
Professional 24/7.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I did like it at the time. And other boxers, it was there. It was, you know, they was going, how do you manage to get up and drink? I mean, get up and spar and drink.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But what I used to do sometimes, I went up to the, drove in my car to the pier, and it was 2 mile there, 2 mile back. So what I'd do, I'd be out to the early hours of the morning, get up early, put on my sweat gear on, run up to the pier, 2 mile back, have a breakfast, and then have a shower, get in bed and get to sleep, because Eubank always trained at 3 o'clock. And by the time 3 o'clock come round, I was all right.
Yeah, he's right.
Do you know what I mean? I'd come round. Do you know what I mean? And then once the sparring had finished again, like we'd come out to sparring about 5 or 6 o'clock, I'd be clock stayed in the pub.
Yeah.
It was good times.
At the time, did you just think, like, obviously everyone's saying, like, imagine what you're capable of without the booze. Did you just think you're good with the booze?
I thought I'm all right the way I was.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I thought I'm okay. Do you know what I mean? I thought I'm enjoying myself. And I'm doing all right. I thought, well, you know, nobody else, everybody else is struggling with him, like, and I'm doing all right. But I liked, I could say, I did enjoy the nightlife. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I liked it. I like going out. I like drinking. I like socialising. I like party. You know what I mean? I just liked it.
No, yeah, completely agree. Yeah.
You know, I ain't got, I got no regrets. You know what I mean? I just enjoyed myself.
Yeah.
And I went to another sparring jobs all, you know, Germany and all that. Spar with 7 odd, Marcus Bay and everything else. And Richie Woodall and lots and lots of world champions and all that. But I drank every night.
Yeah.
That's what I did.
Was it? At what point did it transition from you just drinking when you've had a victory to now drinking every day? Like, where's that transition?
Well, I'd say in my early 20s I was drinking every day. You know what I mean?
How did you get to that point?
Because I just liked it. I'm a social drinker. And then what I'd do, I'd just go on a run, sweat it out of me, then I'd be alright.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And because I was young and strong, I could cope with it. You know what I mean? Yeah, I could have done better. Yeah, I could have done, but I liked going out. Like Ronnie Davis said to me, he said, Andy, why don't you knuckle down? And I went, I'm doing my job. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm doing my job, so what's the problem?
Yeah.
And I said, Ron, if I don't do my job, send me home. You know what I mean? And he said, well, I can't knock you.
Yeah. Until the booze comes a problem, leave me alone.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
He said, I can't knock you.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
When you was drinking every day, was it always social out and about, or was you ever just...
No, it was social. It was social.
Never on your own in the house?
Nah, not that stage.
Yeah.
Not while I was still boxing. You know what I mean? It was just social. You know what I mean? It was social. And I enjoyed it. Honestly, I really did. Had some great times.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
Looking back now, though, how do you think alcohol affected your overall boxing career and your performance?
I definitely believe, like, I had everything in place to be world champion. I mean a proper Lionel world champion, not a Mickey Mouse world champion. You know what I mean? Like some of these medal belts.
Yeah.
I mean, I want about, like, you know, the WBC, the WBA, IBF, you know, or WBO or something like that. Not these Mickey Mouse titles, what they all go on about. But like I was at that level. Do you know what I mean? I was at that level.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? My record speaks for itself. You look on the names of my professional record, you look at how many people I've fought with up there or who I shared the ring with, and I was at that level, and I wore it my best. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I was drinking. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I could have done, I could have done a lot better. But there's a lot of professional fighters who, now they're older, they could say that as well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I'd have done this, if I'd have done that. But I don't want to make excuses. But the drinking did hamper me, but I don't care because I enjoy myself. Yeah. And I was working for my dad in the scrap business, and I was doing all sorts of criminal activities as well. You know what I mean? So life was good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Life was good.
When you just said the booze was hampering you, is that hindsight or did you know at the time?
At the time, I don't think it was bothering me.
Yeah.
Because I was getting away with it. You know what I mean? I was getting away with it, and I was holding my own. That I know, but I don't get in the ring with.
Mm-hmm.
They say about I couldn't hold my own with.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I'll get in that ring and go over. Do you know what I mean? But I've got a good defence, and I'll just get behind my jab. You know what I mean? Until I just get through it.
Yeah.
But I did get in the ring and go over quite a few times.
Did your dad know about your drinking at this point?
Yeah, he used to say to me, "Why don't you stop?" You know what I mean? Because I got into a few street fights as well, growing up as well. Yeah.
Why didn't you listen to your dad of all people though?
Because I was not arrogant, but I thought I could do both. I was young and strong, and I was tough as they come. You know what I mean? Nobody ever knocked me down or knocked me out or anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You call train that. Yeah, that's just in you. Like that's just passed down for me by my dad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because my dad was a tough guy. And that was just the way I was. I just thought I'm okay. I'm doing what I'm doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I thought I could still do it. I thought I was unbelievable. I'd have fought King Kong, man. You know what I mean? I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
I would have, honestly. It don't matter. I'd have fought it. I fought anybody. Anything that found me up. Nigel Benn, Eubank, Joe Calzaghe, Richard Woodall, Seven Odd, Marcus Bayer, no worries. I'll say how much over there. Or I'll try and add a bit more on, get a bit more out of them. You know what I mean? And I never say, no, I don't know. And even if I was unfit, I'd still go and do it. I'd get fit doing it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, that's something they can never say about you. You've never ducked or dodged anyone. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So you just said at the time you was getting involved in street fights as well?
Yeah, I got it. Yeah.
This booze related?
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Yeah, just on nights out, just...
Yeah, stuff like that, yeah. I got stabbed as well. You know what I mean? Yeah, got stabbed a few times. It's bottled, glassed.
All this while you're an active professional?
Yeah, definitely. Lucky to be alive.
Yeah.
A couple of them. You know what I mean? Where I could have been dead. Really, really lucky to be alive. When the knife went in my back 3 times, it just missed me lung and they punched me lung. You know what I mean?
Stabbed in the back 3 times?
Yeah. That was a close call. You know what I mean? Really close.
Yeah.
I just fought Robin Reed as well. You know what I mean? I just fought Robin Reed at short notice on the same bill as Nassim Ahmed.
Yeah.
And then when I went out for a drink, and I got into a fight, I was lucky to get away with my life, to be honest. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Definitely.
Why are these fights happening, or is it just you being pissed up and being an idiot because you're a boxer?
Sometimes you're in the wrong, you can be in the wrong place at the wrong time, and that one particular night, I was in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It wasn't my fault, but I was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. Some of it was my fault. Do you know what I mean? I held my hands up to that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Sometimes I was, you know what I mean? Somebody, if I said someone would say, I'd say, well, what's the matter here? What's the matter? Bump. I won't give him a chance to open the mouth.
Yeah.
Half the time I just smack him one line. You know what I mean? But what goes around comes around. I mean, sometimes as well. And that one time I did get stabbed. I was lucky to get around.
Yeah.
But I also did have a few other fights as well. I knocked 2 or 3 out at one game. And I remember going down a pub down Woburn, and I knocked 3 people out together. You know what I mean? I was known for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. None of the bouncers are going to tell you to stop, are they?
I knocked a few of them out.
Yeah.
I knocked a few of them out and bit one stump off.
But was this you just thinking this is a part of the life?
That's the way I was. I was just a bit crazy like as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was that was just the way I was. You know what I mean? I was that way. And you know, and I did a bit of door work and all that as well and stuff and that, you know what I mean? But I don't really have to do it, I just did it for the crack. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't need the money or anything else like that, I just did it for the crack, like. Do you know what I mean? You know, you know, it comes hand in hand, and sometimes with being a boxer as well, you know what I mean? But I never had anybody pick a fight with me because I was Andy Flute, because they wouldn't.
Yeah, they'd be very stupid to do that, wouldn't they? Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But, you know.
I'm sure they soon found out.
Do you know what I mean? But,
the guy who stabbed you, was that from behind, I presume?
yeah, it was behind, but there was more just one. It was about 20 of them.
Yeah.
I was fighting for my life with about 20 guys, man. Do you know what I mean? I was surrounded. You know what I mean?
So he was hospitalised, and
Yeah.
nobody said, like...
Well, my mate was battered. My mate wasn't, my other mate was, but I'd go off my feet. Good, you know, even though I was drunk, I'd go off my feet. If I'd got off my feet, I'd have been killed. Because there was over 20 of them as well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they were stabbing, because as they was coming at me, like, they was surrounding me like that, but I was knocking them out at the same time. But then they surrounded me and they stabbed me in the back as well. But I carried on for
The adrenaline, yeah.
You know what I mean? And I've got a bright yellow shirt on, one of them Ralph Lauren shirts, and that was just covered in blood. Do you know what I mean?
And after that, you didn't think, like, fucking hell, I've got to change my ways here?
I was thinking about revenge more than anything else.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? At the time. And that's it, you know, and then I claimed criminal injuries for it as well, to be honest. You know what I mean? Because it was a bad attack as well.
Yeah.
But you know, I just carried on. I just thought, you know, I'll just carry on. You've got to carry on, ain't you?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Would you say that's the worst thing that happened to you at that point in your life?
I had a few things, accidents as well. I had a gas bottle explode in between the eyes in the scrapyard. I had a few accidents, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Mr. Lucky, stop calling you.
Yeah, I had a few near-death experiences, not just fighting, but other stuff as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So you're boozing to the point you're getting stabbed,
Yeah.
but you're boxing goods. So I suppose everyone else professionally is then just, he's fine. Do you know what I mean? He's working, he's doing his job, he's fine, leaving you to it, no interventions. But then you retired at the age of 30.
But I bought my own house when I was 22 and stuff like that. I was doing well financially.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And everything else. And, you know, I ain't going to say how much money I had, but I had quite a lot of money.
Yeah.
You know, and I was wealthy, like for a young lad. I'd done well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know. And sometimes I took fights like where I haven't got that much ambition. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I remember fighting one guy, Swedish guy. I think he'd had 22 fights, knocked 20 out. And then Frank Maloney rung me up and I said, "Do you want to fight Levski Keski?" And I said, "Yeah, I don't know how much." You know what I mean? So 10 round fight, I think it was 10 threes or 8 threes. And he said, "What condition are you in?" I says, I'm average, I'm alright, but I was still drinking every day, but I was doing a bit of road work and that,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And I said, "Yeah, you know, we talked the price," and I said, "Okay, I'll take it," you know what I mean? I don't know, his trainer was Angelo Dundee, who was a great Muhammad Ali's trainer.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So, and when I come walking out, I seen Angelo Dundee, I thought, fucking hell, I'm going to let myself in for it, yeah? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I take that fight, like, it's because the money I took that fight.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And then he went on to fight for world title after beating me.
Yeah.
And so did Robbie Reed, and so did lots of other people. But I did fight them at my best. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, because I was still partying and still doing
Yeah.
that. But because I'm doing well financially as well, I used to think, well, I'm made it already, and I don't need to be world champion.
That's what I was just about to get to. I was going to say, did you ever get to a point where it's like, world champion, nah, forget it, I'm after the money?
I'm just as good as them. I mean, you can look at the ratings, and I thought I was up there with them, but I thought, well, you know, I'm financially alright, so it don't matter.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know.
So just turn into a money game then.
So it was just, yeah, you know, I remember taking one for it just to help pay for my wedding as well, just to, you know, I don't need to, you know what I mean? And I took one, when I fought Glenn Catley on a Frank Warren show as well. Glenn Catley went on to a world champion as well. I had a week's notice for a 12-round fight for the IBF Intercontinental title fight. And Glenn Catley went on to be British and world champion and everything after beating me. But I had a week's notice to get ready for it.
Yeah.
I took it for the money. You know what I mean? Because they rang me up. I mean, you got to be in the world's top 10 to box for it. And I just went, how much? I said, what condition you in? And I went, Frank Warren, he's right hand man. And I just said, I'm all right. I said, I'm fit enough. I said, I'm fit enough to handle him. Because that's what I thought.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I just took the fight. It was live on Sky, Joe Calzaghe was commentating. And I did all right, to be honest. And then I got caught in the 5th. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but that was another fight I took for the money. But when I fought Neville Brown for the British middleweight title, that was like live on BBC One on Sports Night. I did try for that one. Do you know what I mean? But making the weight, because I had to wait another day then. When they changed it to wait the day before.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
And that was a close fight. It was only Steve Collins beat Neville Brown, but there was nothing in it till round 7. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I got cut. I don't know. But I did have the hunger for that one.
Yeah, that's what you wanted, yeah.
You know what I mean? And I remember having a fight earlier in my career, and I ended up having 9 stitches down here and 7 down here. And then I had a cut here, and I had to go to all the streets all that done. And my dad went, I'm going to pull you out. I said, you pull me out, I'll never speak to you again. You know what I mean? It was an 8-3 fight. And I said, it was end of round 4, and he said, I'm going to pull you out. And I said, you better not pull me out, I will speak to you. I said, I'll get through it. You know what I mean? And I got through it, and I managed to get a draw.
Yeah.
And I said, I'll keep away. And I kept out of the ray and boxed behind my jab. And I managed to get a draw. But I couldn't, because I was hungry then, if you know what I mean. So I got like the hungry side of it, then just to the money side of it.
Just to the payday.
Where you were bothered, like.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Where the ambition goes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, where you get a bit, because you've got everything what you wanted.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Just got lazy because you was comfortable.
Yeah. You take so much lazy, you think you've made it. Do you know what I mean?
Think it lasts forever.
You've got properties, you've got it, this, that. When you first start out, you ain't got nothing, have you? Do you know what I mean? But once you build everything up, you think, well, I'm doing all right now.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And that's the way it went.
So what age did you get married?
I got married when I was with the same girl from the age of 12.
Okay.
I got married when I was 31. But I've been with her from the age of 12. It's just that we never got around to it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But we had a couple of kids. I've got 3 girls now with the same girl. I'm not with her now. I got divorced because of what happened. But yeah, it was. June was the love of my life, to be honest.
So how was she being married to you? Obviously your lifestyle, doing what you were doing.
It was tough for her, but it was solid, if you know what I mean. Behind every decent bloke there's a woman either. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It was a bank manager, and it was just a good woman. It was sound, and it supported me in everything I did. You know what I mean? Even
when you was the fights, the women.
Yeah, well, they don't know about the women and stuff like that. I kept that hidden for years and stuff like that. You know what I mean? But I knew what I was getting myself into by being with me, somebody like me, because I had a reputation. You know what I mean? Yeah. But so I did know what I was getting into.
It's quite a tricky one, this, because like you had the love of your life home, like you just said, love of your life. She's a home, good, supportive woman. Yeah. Like I've been married twice. Yeah. My first marriage, I got married when I was 22. I played them games with the women. Yeah. The drugs, I was all over it, and she found out a lot. But I always said, like, I'm doing this and that with all the women, but you're still the one. Yeah. It's hard trying to get somebody to understand that. You're probably the first person I've heard actually say like the exact same. Yeah. Yeah. It's hard getting someone to understand.
Yeah, I understand. Because I like doing what I did, but I still like business as well.
Yeah.
When I was a player. You know what I mean?
I don't know whether it's an attention thing or a bit of an ego thing, like I can still get the women.
Yeah,
and
it's that as well, ain't it? You know what I mean? Definitely.
Yeah. But you retired at the age of 30. How come?
I wish I'd carried on my boxing career, to be honest. But I'd got a few businesses and all that, and I was doing well. And don't forget, I'd more or less done everything there is to do. I boxed for 2 versions of the world title, boxed the British title, and I was financially okay.
Yeah, look,
because you box for money, don't you?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Really, at the end of the day, boxing's it's a money sport. We're all in it for money. For everybody, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And when I was coming through it early on, I was in it for so much for the money because I wanted to make a name for myself.
Yeah. Just because you had no money as well, it's saying something you was used to.
But I was doing all right. You know what I mean? I was doing well.
Yeah, like you retired at 30, you had your pub, wholesale business, properties. Do you think your flame just went out for boxing?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'd lost the. Yeah, I was still running and training, and that, even though I was drinking and that. You know what I mean? I've always done loads of road work, but the desire was leaving me, like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Was it easy to pack it in just to call it quits?
Well, I was money driven, if you know what I mean. Money was my god. Like, I'd done some terrible things for money. Do you know what I mean? What I couldn't talk about. Yeah. You know what I mean? But money was my god, so that was me. Well, that was why I boxed after, and it was, And then once I was doing all right with everything else, the desire to fight goes, do you know what I mean? Yeah. You know what I mean? And then, once you've packed it in for a bit, you think, oh man, I might make a comeback. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Why didn't you ever come back?
I did like the once, and I had an exhibition fight with Nigel Benn as well. Do you know what I mean? Did you know about that?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I had an exhibition fight with Nigel Benn, man. And I'd just come out of prison, and Spencer Brown, who was Tyson Fury's manager.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Gold Star.
Yeah, he contacted me because I was doing some shows with him, and I was doing quite a lot with him before I got sent to prison. And we'd arranged to do an exhibition fight with Nigel, and but building up to the fight, I was sniffing and drinking every day because that was at the height of my addiction as well. You know what I mean? And Spencer told me to pull out. You know what I mean? Spencer did. He says, Andy, you ain't ready, man. You ain't right, man. I said, Spencer, I ain't fucking pulling out, man. I said, all right. I went through with you. And Nigel Benn come to the middle of the ring with him. I looked at him like that. And, I wasn't the best place of my fan of mine. And he said, I've heard everything you've said about me. Nigel said to me. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's because I found out after somebody in spread rumours on that I was going to try and knock him out, which is totally untrue because I've got all the respect in the world for Nigel. Because of what he's done. You know what I mean? And so he just come out and tried to knock me out. Yeah.
It's the last thing you need.
You know what I mean? He just went berserk. Honestly, he gave me everything he got. He gave me absolutely everything. I mean, but I just took it. I just took it on my arms and my elbows and everything else. Yeah. You know what I mean? Being a true professional, what I do, I know how to defend myself. Do you know what I mean? And he ended up on the floor himself because he threw a punch that he threw a punch with that much force, and I stepped out of the way, and he went on the floor himself. You know what I mean? Yeah. We come mates after. He said, why did you get so mad at me like that for? He said, could somebody tell me he was going to try and knock me out? I said, Nigel, I said, he can't believe things like that. Do you know what I mean? I said, as if I would. You know what I mean? I said, I've already spoken to you once, you know what I mean? I said, everything else, been mates, kept in touch and that. I said, should have known better. Do you know what I mean?
But Nigel was a boy himself when you're back in his day.
Yeah, of course he was, you know what I mean? Yeah. I'm glad I did it, but the desire ain't there really, like it was. And like same as with him, like he was, just having another dabble at it when he was older. Yeah. It ain't never the same as it when him younger. You know what I mean?
So you retired, you're a successful businessman. Yeah. You do anything, still drinking?
I don't never stop drinking from that time. Yeah, I don't never have a break.
When did drugs come into play?
The drugs come into play in my 20s, late 20s. I just started having cocaine just to keep me out longer. Yeah. I liked it, to be honest. It was great if you get some good stuff. Not, mixed, but if you got some good stuff, it was good, man. It gives you a good buzz. Yeah. You know what I mean? And the two went hand in hand.
I was just about to say that. Was that then moving forward, it has to be coke with a drink?
Yeah, and then before it became a problem, like, it was fun. It was good times.
Everything starts out as fun.
You know what I mean? Yeah. it was good times.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
When you was 13, you packed it in. Did you think you had a drinking problem at this point?
Yeah, I was alcoholic then.
Yeah, but was
you
aware of that?
Yeah, I was
you convincing yourself?
Well, when I went to my first Alcoholics Anonymous meeting, about that time, I wouldn't say, I said, hello, my name's Andrew, but I've got a drink problem. I don't say, my name's Andrew, I'm an alcoholic.
I'm an alcoholic, yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I was in denial, and I was in denial for years, to be honest.
Yeah.
But really, when I was sparring with Chris Eubank and I was drinking 10 pints of Guinness every night, and excuse me that, I was alcoholic then.
Yeah.
Because like alcoholism comes in all different forms. But like what I was, you know, as I had to learn about it, the program, I had to learn all about it. Because I was a periodic drinker. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I was still alcoholic. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know
that's when you can be a functioning alcoholic.
Yeah, that's what I was.
Yeah,
exactly. I was functioning
that,
alcoholic. I had to have a drink every day, but even though I was still doing my job. And my job was like sparring with the world's best. But I was still functioning, still drinking.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No.
So, age 30, you got your successful businesses, good boxing career behind you.
Yeah.
But you're an alcoholic.
Yeah.
And now you've got a drug problem on top of it.
Yeah. That's the truth, that is.
Yeah.
Yeah. And my sister was really worried about me, to be honest. My sister was, and it took me to my first Alcoholics Anonymous meeting.
Did you want to go?
Nah.
Mm-hmm.
And the first AA meeting, now I know all about it. Your first AA meeting is the most important one. But I was there and I listened, and I thought, man, I'll stop if I get that bad. When I listened to
as bad as these.
When I listened to some of the shares, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't bother. I don't what I thought they say for me. I mean, I hear all these stories and these, you know, and I thought, I hate that bad, I'll stop, man. But I thought I could just stop any time myself anyway.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because I don't really think I've got a problem. I thought, well, you know, I'm strong. You know, I can do most things what people can do. So I thought I could stop when I want. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So it was just a waste of time for you, just...
The first time, yeah, was. But when I went back to my next Alcoholics Anonymous meeting, I was as bad and I was worse than in the rooms. You know what I mean? Because I just took no notice, got out, and then I just carried on drinking. Because alcoholism is progressive. Do you know what I mean? It never gets easier. It depends on the type of alcoholic you are. Do you know what I mean? You know, once your body's had a psychological and physical change, there's no operation in the world that can put it right.
Yeah.
Because it sets a chemical off called acetone. And if I was to have a drink now, even though like I'm, you know, clean and sober a long time, it'd be like tipping petrol on a fire. I won't be able to stop.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's opening the door again.
There ain't no operation in the world that can put it right.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't know that.
Yeah.
But you know, but when you've been to rehab and you've been on the programs and you've had to learn all about it, you know what I mean? You know, you had to learn about everything. It's a whole new change. You know what I mean? But the ride of getting to going to the meetings and then getting to say, well, you can never drink again. That was too much to take into to start with. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I bet it seemed impossible.
Yeah, well, it did at first.
Yeah.
I thought, I don't need this, I'm all right. You know what I mean? I'm all right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I battled with it for years and years and years. And I just caused everybody around me pain and suffering.
Yeah.
My wife, my kids, my mum, my dad, everybody. You know what I mean?
How did it affect all them?
They was all distraught, to be honest. You know what I mean? All distraught. I remember going out 4 Fridays on the trot, right, and getting locked up 4 Fridays on the trot and being in court Monday morning. And being locked up all weekend.
Yeah.
Because they keep you in the cells, don't they?
Yeah,
They don't lose your head, and they put me in court Monday morning 4 times on the trot.
All for voting?
Violence.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. What I feel it was.
So, at this point, you're obviously drinking every day, you've got an issue. Is it now drugs every day as well?
Yeah. It got to a stage at the height I was on between 5 and 7 gram a day. And I would put an old gram out and sniff an old gram in one go. Just trying to show off.
Yeah. So what would you spend in a day on average?
It could vary, it just all depends on, but you know, 5 gram, 7 gram, how much is it? And then I'll buy other people's because I've got money.
Yeah.
And I'd buy company, you know what I mean, for people to stay with me.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Stuff like that. So, you know, you'd spend it a lot, so yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, £1,000 a day.
Well, when I got onto the stronger stuff, it was £1,000 a day and more.
Yeah.
You know, because the cocaine had no effect after a bit.
Yeah.
So I went on to the crack. I went on to the stronger stuff.
What made you try that? Like,
a couple of friends, I'm going to mention the names. Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
From people I knew, some friends I went to school with a few of them. And they got me to try it. Do you know what I mean? But they drink like me. So I was drunk as well as trying it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? They were just on that. Do you know what I mean? That was enough for them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
With me, I've got to get drunk and have all that as well.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I'm buying all theirs as well. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. She's everyone's best friend as well.
Yeah. And they don't care because I'm buying it all. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, and that's how it went on for quite a while, to be honest.
Yes, but was you smoking the crack?
Yeah. I put £100 rock on, man. You just get as much as I can, and I'd have a bottle of vodka by the side of me as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah. How long did that go on for?
A couple of years.
And doing all that, what did you lose?
Quite a lot, nearly everything.
Yeah.
Everything I'd built up over the years.
Businesses, house, family.
Yeah, my wife, everything. My June I've been with for 30 years. Left me, I never thought he would. You know what I mean?
How many chances did she give you?
It's tough, man. He gave me a lot of chances. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was in active. I couldn't stop.
Did you want to stop?
Yeah, I did everything to try and stop. I even had anti-abuse tablets, same as George Best. You know what I mean? Have you heard of them?
Yeah.
I'd done everything. I went to the meetings. I started going to meetings all the time.
What about professional now?
Yeah, I've done all that as well. I tried all that as well. I see psychiatrists, you know, bushy fields, rehab and everything. You know, I tried everything. Acupuncture in the ears. You know, I tried absolutely everything. And I did really keep trying, like, you know what I mean? And June did consider I was trying as well sometimes. But then once I put one drink in me, that was off, man. You know what I mean? I was off.
Did she know about the crack?
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Because like there's a hierarchy of drugs, isn't there?
Yeah, I went to court drunk once. I told them all to F off. And went out the court. They tried to grab me and I wouldn't have legged it out the court. And I went straight to the crack den. And I stayed in the crack den for 2 weeks while the police was hunting for me. And then, I was glad to get out the crack den, to be honest. I was with a mouthful of ulcers and I was drinking and everything else. And then they just locked me up and put me in prison for a bit. And that probably saved my life going to prison because I was offered hooch and all that in prison and Subutex and stuff like that. I did have a bit of Subutex, but it's probably saved my life that did go to prison as well.
Yeah.
You know?
We will come on to the prison, but through all this, how much money through businesses, your savings, do you think you lost?
I can't put a price on it because the divorce cost me a lot of money as well. And I remember doing about 150 grand in 3 months on crack, you know what I mean, booze and everything else. And I remember having an apartment in Turkey as well. I'd sold, and the estate agent went off for the money. I had to give them power of attorney.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then there was all sorts of. I had all sorts of problems, losing my driving licenses, smashing cars up. So I was just,
just out of control.
Yeah, proper out of control.
Yeah.
I mean, being locked up all the time, things happening. Like I said, I'd gone from a local hero, representing the country, the next big thing, to, being in trouble. I'd gone from the back page of the paper to being on the front page of the paper.
Mm-hmm.
That makes I'm well known, really well known around my area.
Yeah.
It was tough, man. It was tough. It was really, really tough. And anyway, it got to the stage where I was just sitting in a room drinking bottle after bottle. You know what I mean? I remember drinking. I think the Birmingham Post did an advertisement on me, done an article on me where I drank about 14 bottles of Jack Daniels in 4 days. And I was in so much pain. I was seeing things, I was hallucinating, I was shaking, I was paranoid, I was too scared to go out. I was lying in my own piss and shit, I couldn't do anything. You know what I mean? And I remember once, it's horrible going back to it, man. I tell you, let's just lived it, man. I remember drinking a pint of my own sick. Because I was too scared to go out. I was like this, shivering, shaking. And it just takes you back to, you know, the moment, like.
Yeah, of course.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was thinking, I've got no vodka left, I've got no vodka left. Fucking hell, what am I going to do? I've got no vodka left. And I was like wrenching, I was like this. And I got this pint glass, I went like this, and I fucking sicked into the pint glass. And there was blood in it, bits in it, everything like that. But it was nearly a full pint glass, but it was nearly all vodka. And I hate joking. I drunk a lot, you know what I mean? And that gave me the strength to get to the shop.
To get more?
To get more. And I walking in the shop, I was like, hold over me, like shaking like this. And just hand the bloke the money, couldn't make no eye contact, and just get a bottle of big bottle of vodka. Get outside the shop and just get the top off and lock it. Like that. Do you know what I mean? And scurry off back to get some fucking horrendous.
But then would you be okay then? Well,
I'd be alright for a bit. I'll try and make it last.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Or to try and get somebody to get me some more, or man, it's horrible to go back to it, man. I was in pure hell, man.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Honestly, man. You know.
Is that the point you got to when obviously you lost your wife and family?
Yeah, everything had gone mad. And I thought, there's no point living no more. And I used to lie there, because like, it got to the stage where I couldn't drink. My body couldn't take no more. I couldn't keep any down, because I rinsed it. Even if I had some, my body couldn't take it, I couldn't drink it, because my body rejected it.
Yeah, just rejecting it.
You know what I mean? And I'd just lie there like that, shivering, shaking, thinking, fucking hell, man, I've got to kill myself. How should I kill myself? So I jump off a building. Should I jump in front of a train? What the fuck should I do, man? Do you know what I mean? I thought I've got to get out of this. I thought I could cope with this. And I kept thinking of my children and everything else and June. And then fucking boxing, on big shows and all that fucking glory and that. And thinking, fucking hell, now I've come now. What a fucking hell, what a mess I am. I felt like a failure. And I thought, I'm going to kill myself, man. I've had enough. And I just, I hadn't got the courage to jump off a building or throw myself under a train. You know what I mean? So I was a coward. I'd turned into a coward. So I just got enough tablets together. And I didn't get it work right for help. I didn't get enough tablets together to kill me. I took I remember taking them. I can still remember I was drunk. I just thought, that's it, man. I've had enough. Goodbye, world. I've fucking had enough. I'm gone, man. And I just kind of them all down, just like fucking this. And that was it, man. I thought that's it, that's the end. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Luckily for me, I was fine. Ambulance called. I don't know none of this, obviously I was out. Took to the hospital. They pumped a solution into my arm. But saved my life by about 20 minutes. Stop the tablets killing me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I seen the crisis team. I was like, fuck, what have I come to, man? I was thinking, look what I was.
Yeah.
Look what I am now. Do you know? And then the crisis team come to me. And they said, there's worse people in this hospital with worse problems than you. You know what I mean? That's what they said to me. Do you know what I mean? And I thought, what the fuck are you on about? Do you know what I mean? I've just tried to take my whole life.
Suppose you didn't go off.
I just left and went to start drinking again. You know, I left the hospital. You know what I mean? I just fucking went back out. And I just fuck off. And I went back out and I started drinking again. and then I've set the cycle off again.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Started it all off again. Then when I got stopped then again, so everybody stopped me. You know what I mean? That's how it was.
It's sad though, isn't it? You've actively tried to kill yourself.
Yeah.
A crisis team have come to see you because you're in crisis.
Yeah.
And their advice to you is there's people worse than you.
Yeah, they said there's people in this hospital with worse problems than you, and there probably was. Do you know what I mean? But when you're an alcoholic, resentment to an alcoholic is like a red flag to a bull. Do you know what I mean? You don't want to hear that, do you?
Yeah.
Well, couldn't they be a bit more, you know, a bit more subtle?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I've said numerous times across different episodes, like, if a drug addict's obviously got an addiction, look at why. Why are they taking those drugs? Why is someone drinking? Look at those problems first. Get to the root. Instead of saying you're bad for drinking, stop drinking.
You know, and I agree with you, man. You know, I just, it was a really bad time in my life.
What year was this?
I can't remember quite, I sort of think, 2000 and probably 10, I think, probably, something like that. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I know if I was to have one drink now, I didn't back then.
Of course, yeah.
You know what I mean? I know that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because I tried a million times to beat it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like I said, you know, people need to understand the illness of alcoholism and drug addiction.
Yeah.
You know, it ain't something to be took lightly. Because there's all, it's like, you know, there's all different parts of it, like some are worse than others. You know what I mean? There's you know, there's some, you know, some can have it mildly. You know what I mean? Be a mild, have a little bit of a problem. You know what I mean?
Of course,
you know what I mean? I mean, I've been in the recovery rooms of Alcoholics Anonymous now a long time, and I speak in recovery places and all that now, and I see people, but you know, there's all different types and all different sorts and all different, some worse than others. You know, I know alcoholics who are just steady drinkers, just drink, you know, every day. Met me one mate, John. He just drank every day, steady. He had about 4 or 5 pints every day.
Every night.
You know what I mean? But he died. He killed him. He killed him. Because he's done it every day. He killed him. And some can take it, some can't. Do you know what I mean? But there's all levels of alcoholism and drug addiction as well.
Of course,
you know what I mean? And mine was just, I just saying this just to, you know, I've got nothing to boast about by talking about this, but it was really severe. You know what I mean? Really, the worst of the worst. I was the worst alcoholic I've ever come across because I could not stop at all till it stopped me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Was drugs still into the play at this point?
Yeah, I was taking both. I was in both. I was taking both. I couldn't do one without the other. You know what I mean? I could not do one without the other. You know what I mean? I even tried heroin in jail and everything else as well. I'm good, thank God for me that I don't like it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, I think it says a lot about your career, because obviously not everyone's a boxing fan, but it shows how much you earned to still be then, years down the line, a bad addict, an alcoholic, paying for everyone and funding yourself, and you're still going through that money after all those years, and how much you are spending.
I didn't have a blue nearly everything. I don't know.
Yeah. So before we finish up on the addiction, we'll have to obviously rewind it back to the prison sentences.
Yeah.
How did they come about?
Well, the first time I went to prison, I didn't really take much notice. They knew I was.
Why did you go?
Just violence.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And I said to the screw, I said, if you don't give me a cell on my arm, I'll beat the bad mate up. You know what I mean?
Single cell straight away then?
Yeah, and I would have. They knew me anyway. And they was like, that's Flute. You know what I mean? That's Flute. You know, I was known. Like I said, I was known for my violence and my street fighting, just as much as I was boxing. And I took the notice. I all bothered. I knew a few lads in there as well. You know what I mean? Yeah.
How long did you serve?
Not long, only about 3 months. I was on, and then I went to court and they gave me a conditional suspended sentence on that.
Alright, so you were remanded awaiting sentence.
And then the second time I went, I hadn't been out long and I started drinking again. You know what I mean? I don't listen. I took the notice.
When you was in prison, how was you with no booze and drugs?
But I could have had it, but I knew, like I was in there because of that, and I was trying, if you know what I mean.
You wanted out of that?
I wanted out of that life.
Okay,
I was trying to change.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I knew, like, I'd had everything, lost everything, and lost my marriage, kids, everything. I was trying to get things back.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was trying.
That's your reset.
I was trying, like,
yeah.
do you know what I mean? But I just, it was so hard. Do you know what I mean? But I was trying. I did go to AA meetings in jail. I did go to the chapel in jail.
Yeah.
And I did, I was trying, because by the time I was already sent to jail, I was already been going to Alcoholics Anonymous and having help, having private counsellors come to my house and doing all the things what was suggested to do.
Yeah.
I mean, I did everything what was suggested. You name it, I did it. Do you know what I mean? To try and get out of it as well.
Yeah.
I mean, before I got sent to prison.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? So, I knew I was in prison because of that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I hated it, man. You know what I mean? I hated it. And I think, I hated it because of having everything as well. Good life, holiday homes. I had loads of them, 2 of them. You know what I mean? And I was like, yeah, and then you find yourself in a position like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
How was you in prison now? How was everyone else with you in prison?
Well, there's a few lads on the wing. I ain't going to mention their names, but they was running the wing and all the stuff like that, and there was like, Flute is here. You know what I mean? And it was like, they come round and made me welcome. It was all right, man.
There's one or two ways usually, like, they know you've got money.
Yeah,
So they're even, obviously that's...
They know there's a few lads from Tipton where I'm from and that, you know what I mean? And it was sad.
Yeah.
And they knew I was anyway. I got my reputation was bad enough anyway.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And I had lots of people try and make friends with me as well. You know what I mean?
Of course, yeah.
You know what I mean? Stacks try and make friends with me.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't like it more for me. You know what I mean? But like I said,
You went back.
As soon as I'd been released and all that, I've done some terrible stuff. And then we went and had a drink to celebrate and everything else. And then I ended up getting caught and back in again. You know what I mean?
How long for this time?
Same thing. I was on remand again. I've done about 3 months. And this time, I thought, fucking hell, I don't like this, man. I don't like this. You know what I mean? First time was bad enough. And then the next time I thought, man, I don't like this, man. I don't want this life. You know what I mean? I don't want to spend it. I don't want to spend my life in and out of this. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I thought, I've got to change, man. I've really got to change. I've got to put everything into changing. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And then I did. I started putting more effort in. Do you know what I mean? I started putting more effort in to try and get clean, to try and get.
Yeah.
But I could get sober for a few months or for a few days or a few months, few weeks or whatever, but then there was a voice in my head all the while that was like, have a drink, just have one.
Would you convince yourself using control and you could just have one drink?
But I thought sometimes I'd do a few weeks, and then I'd think I'm all right. You know what I mean? I can just have one.
Yeah.
But like that towards the end, because at the end I was just like 24/7 drunk. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But while I've been going through this stage in my life in the prison, do you know what I mean? I could still have bits of sobriety.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think, fuck, I don't like this, man. You know what I mean? And then I think I'll go to under control and I'll get in Alcoholics Anonymous, throw myself into the meetings, more chances. Do you know what I mean? They told me to do 90 meetings, 90 days. I did all that. You know what I mean? I got a sponsor. My sponsor really helped me, to be honest. I picked a great sponsor. I just pick somebody who's, you got to pick somebody who's got a good long sobriety, who's got a good story.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Of course, yeah. Someone who's been there, done it.
Yeah. And I waited before I picked this guy. And it was the best decision I've ever made.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He really helped me a lot, man. You know what I mean? But I come out again, but I ended up going back again. I went back into Winson Green. I was in Hull for a couple of times, and then I went back into Winson Green. When I come out in 2013, and I says, I ain't never going there again. I ain't going back again. That's it. I got that mindset where I went, I'm done with that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm done with that. Seeing the probation officers and all the things I was bound over and everything, and you know, and I just thought, I've got to put everything into this, man. Everything I've got. And my sponsor said to me, he said, Andy, he said, if you don't put your recovery first in your life, you ain't got a life.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's no recovery.
And I thought, fuck, you know, that's right. You know what I mean? He's right, because I ain't got a life. Because look what I've had and everything's gone anyway.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I ain't got a life, I'm only existing now. And every time I have a drink, I just finish up sitting in the fucking room on my own, just drinking bottle after bottle after bottle, I pass out. And I thought, you know. And I just kept going on with the meetings and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that's what saved you in the end.
Not really, I just I kept on going to the meetings, but like I said, there was like a voice in my head all the time. And I remember doing 6 months once sober, and I thought, I'm alright.
Yeah. I'm in control.
I'm alright, I can do it, like I'm alright, I've got this sorted, man. I'm alright. And then I read all the AA books and, you know what I mean, stuff and all that, you know what I mean, but I thought, you know, I'm a bit different to everybody else, you know what I mean, you know, I'll be alright just to try a couple of drinks, do you know what I mean, because it's the alcoholic mind that tells you that.
Convincing yourself.
Convincing myself I was alright, you know what I mean, so I tried it, I thought, I'll just try, and I thought, hold on now, I remember I just trying in my drink after I'd had 6 months off. And I thought, I'll only have a pint of bitter. I thought, because it's only a week. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And I got this pint of bitter and I was thinking of, you know, I thought, oh, well, yeah. I couldn't stop. That drink lasted for about 2 months.
Yeah.
I mean, until I was really dead again. I mean, and then once that went on for quite some time. You know what I mean? And I was running out of lives. I was running out of my body. My body was packing up, man. Do you know what I mean?
I can imagine, yeah.
You know what I mean? And I was, you know, every recovery was getting harder and longer to get through, get back to normal. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I've done everything there was to do, everything. And Paul, my sponsor, he told me, he said, Andy, you've got to get honest. I went, well, I'm fucking honest, man. I've never been honest in my life. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. He said, Andy, he said, if you don't get honest, he said, you'll never get sober. And I thought, oh, fuck yeah. I thought, oh, yeah, okay. I thought, you know, like my brother lives on a gypsy site. I say all gypsies on, you know, but like, you know, into different things and that stuff, and I've offered this and offered that, and you know, and I had to tear it down, like, and then I still say, no, I ain't missing with nothing, you know what I mean, because my sponsors told me I've got to be honest, so therefore I'm losing money anyway, and I thought, well, I've got to put myself right in front of all that, do you know what I mean?
Of course.
And then I managed, I slipped a couple of times, you know what I mean? I still slipped a couple of times, and like I said, every time I slipped was like a breakdown. It was a breakdown. You know what I mean? It was just like a few drinks, I'll wake up and be alright. It was like, drink to stop me again.
Do you think you get to the point like, I'm in it now, fuck it, I'll just carry on?
Yeah. I couldn't stop. I couldn't, no matter what, I couldn't stop. I could not stop. Once I put that one drink in me, it was like 2 pence on the fire, like I told you. I could not stop. That's the sort of alcoholic I was.
Yeah.
I'll get to my last drink now. Definitely, I've been suffering for years, man. You know what I mean? And same sponsor, you know what I mean? Paul said, Andy, you've done everything that he suggested, right? I said, yeah. And he said, you know what you ain't done? Find a higher power. You know what I mean? And I went, fuck that, Paul, I don't believe in that. You know what I mean? He said, Andy, he says, you need to find a higher power. He says, whatever you think your higher power can be, you know, he says, you think, I thought, fucking hell, alright. Because in the Alcoholics Anonymous, the higher power can be a God of your own understanding.
Yeah.
Right? So I thought, okay, fucking God, alright then. I remember back when I was a kid at Walbrook Primary School, as a teenager, like as a youngster, and then it's in the Lord's Prayer in the school assemblies, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I thought, right, I'll believe in that. Right, I'll find God. God's the only. I remember the assemblies, and and I thought there's only one God. It's God, Jesus, God. I remember the Christmas plays and all that. You know what I mean? So I thought, right, I'm going to try and find this higher power. I thought, right, and I went to a church. I was Fort King Kong. You know what I mean? I was that full of fear walking into that church. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't know what to expect. You know what I mean? But I thought, I've got to try, man. I've got to try. I've got nothing else left to try. I've got nowhere else to go. I've got to try every avenue there is. I've got nothing else left to try. And I thought, I went to the church. People knew I was, because we were well known around the area. And you know what, they made me that welcome. Do you know what I mean? I'm more used to that because of the background of my life.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I thought they wanted someone off me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they made me that welcome. Do you know what I mean? It was all over the place because you're paranoid and you're thinking, And there's a guy named John, named John Crampon, and he knew who I was, and he made me feel comfortable, made me feel well, took me under his wing, sort of thing, and I kept going back and going back. Kept doing the AA. I had to go to an AA meeting every day for a year. You know what I mean? I had to keep going, but I kept failing, kept failing, but I kept on doing it. And then by this time I met another girl named Angela. I met her at a boxing show, and it helped me as well. And I just give up on me, and I've been going to church and AA. I've been just trying to read the Bible. I kept trying to read the New Testament. I thought it was gobbledygook, but I kept trying, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I honestly, I had nowhere else to go, nothing else to do. I tried everything, do you know what I mean? And I don't really believe anyway, but I had nowhere else to go, because Paul had said to me, I'd find a higher power.
You tried everything.
You know what I mean? And so I thought, okay, I kept going, and then, but that voice in me all the while was like, always there, have a drink, you know what I mean? And I remember going to this boxing event to meet famous boxer. It was all the Cold Fortune, that Gary Mancini. And I'd been sober a bit. I was doing well. You know what I mean? I was fit. I felt good. I took Angela with me. And I'd been sober quite a few months, and like I said, I felt good. And then that voice in me, and I went to the bar, and that voice into my head went, just have a drink, just have one. You know what I mean? And I fucking let me go down there. I just thought, yeah, I'll just have one. You know what I mean? I had one drink. That's all I had. Fucking hell. And then I was back at the bar again. You know what I mean? And then I made a complete show of myself at the boxing show. You know what I mean? In front of my fellow professionals who held me in high regard.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Angela got me out of there, took me back to her house, and I just stopped, got me that much booze to surround me. I surrounded myself with that much booze that I just sat and drank solid for 2 weeks. And then 2 weeks non-stop. If I was awake, I was drunk. I mean, the only time I wore drunk was when I was awake. The only time I wore drinking was when I was awake.
Yeah.
The only time I wore drinking was when I was asleep. Sorry, get mixed up. You know what I mean? But if I was awake, I was drinking. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was drunk like that for 2 weeks, 24/7. I mean, stuck in the same clothes. No wash, no nothing. Just swigging out of a bottle. I wake up, swig out of a bottle. You know what I mean? And this is the truth, man. I'll tell you. Anybody who's watching this, man, you know what I mean? I was somebody going through a similar situation. You know what I mean? While I'm still breathing, there's hope. You know what I mean? And Angela thought I was going to die, to be honest. Because it was, what can I do? I thought, I'm helpless, you know. And you know what I did? Instead of phoning an ambulance, I found the guys from the church I've been going to. You know, that bloke John I said.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I found him, and the pastor come to the house where I was. And they say, oh no, we ain't got time or anything else like that. Because they knew I'd try. And pain, I still remember the pain I was in, you know what I mean? And then they come to the house, and they prayed for me, you know what I mean? And they prayed for me and they left. And I dropped on my knees and I said, God, if you're real, man. I said, God, if you're real, you help me. You took my addiction away from me. I said, I'll follow you for the rest of my life. I was sitting on the fence, mentally be all hard, you know what I mean? From that day to this, I never had another drink. That's the truth of it. And then John and Steve Hyde, the pastor from Sedgley Community Church, he knew that the enemy, the devil, he tried to still get me, you know what I mean? So he arranged a baptism about 12 days after, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I got baptised, I went under the water, a sinner, an alcoholic, you know. I come out, a new creation in Christ. I've got a tattooed on my arm, 2 Corinthians 5, 17, 18. And then ever since that day, my life's just changed, man. I've gone from glory to glory and strength to serve. I know what I do it. God did it.
Yeah.
That fully feeling, that spiritual awakening. And I ain't never been the same since. And I carried on with Alcoholics Anonymous and I carried on with my sponsor. And then I had another spiritual awakening. This time I was sober. I was sitting, I'm sitting opposite you with my sponsor. And I had to write an inventory down of all the people that I harmed. I was doing the 12 steps of recovery.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Step 1 is like, you admit that you're powerless. Do you know what I mean? So I got, and I had to write an inventory of all the people that I harmed. Fucking hell, well, it was a massive mistake because I've harmed some people. You know what I mean? I was willing to make amends and say I'm sorry. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't do it honestly, you've got no chance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and I was reading it out to Paul, who was sitting opposite me, my sponsor. And then as I was reading my inventory out like that, something like come up from my stomach. I went, like a erotic feeling. I went, wow. I went, what was that? And Paul went, wow. He said, Andy, he said, I just said that. I said, what was that, Paul? He went, God's just touched you, Andy. I said, what do you mean? He said, Andy, God's just forgiven you for all the wrong you've done. Mate, I was like, tears, I was like, what was that? What was that? What was that? So I was like, oh, Paul went, what? Paul went, I seen that, man. He goes, oh. And ever since then, because I knew what I do, and then God had touched me, I've just put my effort into seeking God and just doing everything else I can to become a registered charity on ground, of course, speaking. You tell you about what I can get now, more about what I can give.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Teach you from learned experiences.
Yeah, and I ain't ever had an urge for the drink or the drugs since, or an urge to commit any crime. That's the truth, mate. I've been offered stuff.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to be a debt collector and all that stuff, and you know what I mean? Like, when anybody's got a problem, they want me to sort it out. Okay, I don't do that no more. And then some people don't believe me, you know what I mean? And when I say it, some people think, Flute, you've always been strong, you know what I mean? You did it yourself, you know what I mean? I go, look man, I did it, God did it, you know what I mean? And I'll never break that promise. Because when I cried out, I said, God, you take my addiction away, I'll follow you for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
You know my heart. And if my heart hadn't been right, you won't do anything.
Yeah.
Because my heart was like, get me through this so I can drink next week. He meant it. And ever since then, I've kept my promise. And like I said, I've been offered loads of stuff to do wrong things. I won't break the promise. I won't break the promise because you know what? I don't want to end up back where I started or back where I was, because I believe if I break the promise, I'd end up an alcoholic and get on back again. And I'll never break that promise. This is why I do what I do. This is why this is why I agree to do things like this. This is why I go in prison. This is why I go around the country speaking and talking and everything else. Because God gave me a second chance at life. But He gave me a second chance at life, not to big myself up, but to talk about Him, what He did for me. And that's what I'm all about. I'm a registered charity now, and I do what I do to help others in similar situations.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm all about, man. My The book's been all around the country in different prisons. Pentonville have just had 300 copies of it. You know what I mean? It's by popular demand. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've recently just been to Whitehall. They have a lower prison. That's a cat eye prison as well.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I spoke in Whitehall. And do you know what, man? And I went up to a whole course in Liverpool as well, and they give me a standing ovation. Do you know what I mean? I don't take no credit for it.
Yeah.
I ain't got nothing to boast about. I mean, there's lots of boxers better than me. You know what I mean? But you know what God did for me? It was special, man. You know what I mean? That's the truth. I'm humble today. Either I'm no longer that, you know, big tough guy, or you know what I mean, or that I'm a humble guy, man. All I'm interested in today is helping people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I was safe for nothing else. I was safe to have a great big house and go, oh, look at me.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You know what I mean? You know, look, I beat the alcoholism. I'm a humble guy today. It's about what I can give, about what I can get.
Spreading your message.
Spreading the message. And you know, my book, you know, the name of Jesus. It says in the Bible, there's no higher name than Jesus, and every knee will bow. And you know, the best thing for me, my world title for me, is having the name of Jesus on my book, because He allowed me to have the name of Jesus on my book, and that there's no higher name. And I mean, for me, that's my world title, because He allowed me to have a name, His name. I mean, George Foreman wrote a book by George Foreman, world heavyweight champion. He was a Christian, and his book was called God in My Corner. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. My book's called Jesus in My Corner. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And I'm blessed just to, you know, to be out of that pain, and to be given a second chance at life. You know what I mean? It's about, like I said, it's about what I can give today. You know what I mean? Because I've been given a second chance at life, and I ain't gonna waste it.
Of course,
you
yeah.
know what I mean?
What advice would you give to anyone else who's struggling now with addictions?
Get the right help. You've got to admit that you've got a problem. You know what I mean? Because I wasted so many years not admitting it.
Saying you're not that bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because if you can get it early on, you ain't got to go to the depths of like where I went to. I mean, I'm very lucky to be alive. I've seen people, my own friends, like, you know, I've got a few friends who've died who wasn't as bad as me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, just get the help. Get the help. There is help out there if you look for it. But you know, the main thing is you've got to want to do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Change starts with yourself.
It's like smoking, it's like anything. If you really, really want to do it and are willing to go to any lengths to achieve sobriety or achieve being clean, you'll do it. But if you don't want it, if you are half-heartedly, you won't do it. And it all depends on the severity of the addiction as well. Because if you want it bad enough, you'll do it. I mean, because the addictions, you know, there's some really bad, there's some, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the severity of mine, I believe only God could set me free. You know what I mean? Because I did everything, nothing else. I did do everything.
Yeah, there was no coming back for you in reality.
Honestly, I hold my hands up. I did it. You know what I mean? But, you know, God set me free. And that's what I'm interested in today, is about telling people that, listen, there's a God, there's a devil, there's hell, you know what I mean? There's heaven. Yeah. And while you're on this earth, you need to decide which one you're going to spend eternity in. Because it, you know, there is something to be laughed at.
Yeah.
I mean, because when you sit on that, when you die, you're either going to one or the other. You know what I mean? Yeah. And while you're here, you'll have the chance. Everybody will have the chance to accept Jesus or not. You know what I mean? When he comes back, he's coming back for them who have accepted him, not them who have rejected him. And people can laugh what they think, but they'll be laughing when they die, when they realise. You know what I mean? And I've had experiences with the other side as well, where we've delivered people of demons and stuff like that as well. And when we've done deliverance healing. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Where we've had demons come out of people and stuff like that. And one of my best friends used to be in the occult and that. And now he's like a born-again Christian and stuff. And he just goes around delivering people. He does house clearances. He does all sorts of stuff of demonic spirits and stuff like that. So people need to be aware that that your real enemy on this earth ain't people. It's the devil. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? It's spiritual darkness, and people need to be aware of that, because they don't. You know, the devil's still using the same plan there as what he used years ago. Just let people think he ain't alive, he ain't real, and he just deceives people. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And once you know the truth sets you free. You know what I mean? And I'm free today, I know the truth. You know what I mean? Yeah. You know, and honestly, I'm blessed. I'm lucky to be alive, and I'm lucky to be able to spread the good news. And like I said, I will say for nothing else. And You know, I don't care that I don't reach my potential as a boxer or anything else like that, but I'm going to reach my potential as a minister. I'm going to reach as many people as I can.
I was just going to say that perhaps this is your potential.
Yeah, this is my calling.
Yeah.
This is my calling.
This is your path, not boxing. That's just a part of the journey.
Yeah. I can, you know, I train fighters and I lead them to the Lord and stuff like that. Like Jimmy Tibbs said to me. Jimmy Tibbs would train Nigel Benn. Nigel Benn's a Christian. George Foreman's a Christian. Manny Pacquiao's a Christian. I recently met Andre Ward at a church event in Cardiff. He's a youth pastor. Andre Ward is a Hall of Famer. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? We're all wrong. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? And I'm just glad to be free. You know, after that, I just, you know, life's so hard for everyone. I know we're all battling something. You know what I mean? But you know what? If you've got God in your life, you can have a nice house, nice family, nice everything, you know what I mean? But, you know, you think you don't need God, you ain't got to get to the depths that I went through, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
To find Him. But if you have got God in your life, it'll be a lot better, you know what I mean? And people say, well, why does God allow this, why does God allow that and everything else? I ain't got all the answers, God don't let you know, do you know what I mean? And half the problem what's in the world today, God give man free will, and we've caused half the problems ourselves. You know what I mean? Yeah. You know what I mean? But for me, I don't know all the answers. All I keep doing now is going to Bible college, studying the Bible and everything else. And the more I study the Bible, the better my life gets.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's the truth.
Of course, yeah.
You know what I mean? I've just had a documentary made. What's coming out? I had an interview in Michigan in the USA over Zoom. And then CBN, big Christian organisation, TV network. They sent a film crew to the gym and the church and everything. You know what I mean? And it's going to be massive. It's going to be shown in 200 countries. You know what I mean?
It's all positives for you now.
Tell you what I did. But tell you what I did. You know what I mean? It's what God did for me. You know what I mean? It's like the boxers. You know, I boxed all the world's best boxers and all things like that. But, you know, there's still boxers better than me. You know what I mean? But what God did for me, that takes some pity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
How do you get through day to day now?
I've got a good life today. Got a good life today.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a good life today. Still got a few horses and that. Still got a yard. Still take the horse out on the cart. You know what I mean? Yeah. We used to have 55 horses at one stage. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Yeah. We used to, I used to do sulky racing, trotting racing. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah. I used to buy mares. I used to go to Appleby Horse Fair, buy mares, put them in foal, and just breed them. You know what I mean? I've still got a few horses, I've still got a yard, you know what I mean, and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Yeah. And but I'll do 2 or 3 hours studying the Bible every day there as well. You know what I mean? And I still train a few lads. And yeah, life's pretty good. Still do a few meetings. I've got to get to. I've got a busy November coming up. I've got to go to Teen Challenge. I've got to go to 3 churches in Leeds. I've got to go to. Yeah, I've got quite a lot of stuff coming off. Like, you know what I mean? But take me, I don't advertise for it or anything. I'll just or wherever I can be of service. You know what I mean? Like, it's about me, what I can get for myself, about likes or anything else like that. I ain't interested in all that. Yeah. It's about who I can help. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? That's the most important thing. And see, God knows that. God knows that. Then He supplies everything for you anyway. Yeah. Because when you trust in God, and you know, He supplies all you need. You know what I mean? Yeah. You know, well, I don't know that to start with, but as I've learned that when you put your trust in Him, He supplies everything you need anyway. You know what I mean? When you surrender and you pick up your cross daily, He sorts everything else out for you. Yeah. All He's after is just, you know, He ain't no respecter of people. I mean, but all He just wants is you to just believe in it. I mean, believe and receive, or doubt and do without. Yeah. That's what I see. You know what I mean? Where can people buy the book? The book's on Amazon, the easiest way to get it. Austin McCauley Publishers. It's on audio books as well, but the book's on Amazon. And like I said, I wrote it myself in recovery. I don't have no ghostwriter, nothing. Pen and paper, wrote it. Nearly died about half a dozen times writing it. Took me about 6 years to write it. It's very well written, but it tells a true story. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I left school with no exams. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? But I've written a book. Raw and real. It's raw and real. You know, some things I've left out of it. I can't put in one too bad. But the main thing here in the book, it's, you know, is I've had people ring me up. I've done a podcast with James English. I had 300 messages and answered everyone, and I had people ringing me up saying that they've and sending me a message saying they've read the book and they've stopped drinking, they've changed their life. And that to me, that's more than anything else.
Yeah, that's all you want,
That's my purpose.
Yeah, of course.
That's my
all you want,
purpose.
yeah.
There's a sinner's prayer in the back, and if you want to make a declaration to yourself, if I've had people ring me up saying, like, I've read your book and I've stopped drinking, I've stopped taking drugs, I've stopped using. I know there's someone out there. I know that, you know what I mean. I need help. I need direction, because everybody's battling something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everybody's battling
Of course,
something. You know what I mean? And God won't ever force Himself on you or anything else sort of thing. But you know, I just say, just go to the Lord, man. Just go to the Lord. He'll answer you. If you're genuine, you know, you've got a slot machine where you can just think, I'll pray a prayer and he'll answer. You know what I mean? Because He knows your heart.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And all you got to do is surrender and follow Him. You know what I mean? And that's all. And that's, you know. See, when I cried out and I was on my knees and I was like, God, if you help me get through this, I'll follow you the rest of my life. If I hadn't meant that, I don't think I'd be here now.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I don't think I'd been here. I really don't.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I've still got kidney disease. You know what I mean? For all the drink and drugs that I took.
Yeah.
My kidneys were stable. I had liver disease, you know, but that's healed itself. Do you know what I mean? But that's how bad it was.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? My kidneys was down to like 15%. Wasn't, you know what I mean? That's how bad it was. That's how much booze and drugs I took. You know what I mean? But I've got normal function today. Praise the Lord. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you're living.
Yeah, and I'm alive. I can, you know, and like I said, you know, I still train, I still keep fit, I still, you know, train a few lads. I got, you know, still do the corners, still do this, still, you know, I'm still involved. You know what I mean? And, you know, I'm you know, just to have no drama, just to have no drama in your life and have a peaceful life is great.
Quiet life's the best life.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just great. You know what I mean? And I don't seek anybody's attention or anybody's to try and outdo anybody else, because we're all different. Do you know what I mean? I don't compare myself with others or anything else. I just stay in my own lane, because we're all different.
Yeah, we've all got our own
You
story.
know, and just believe in yourself and just what you do. You know what I mean? Don't compare yourself with others or anything else. Just be happy within yourself. Be happy with what you got. Because I tell you, you know, because with the human body, everybody wants more, don't they?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Everybody wants more. And when you get that greed and more, then you're always going to be unhappy because you can't get it. There's always somebody doing better than you. There's always, you know, things.
Yeah.
But if you can be content with who you are in yourself, then you're all right, man. And I'm content today. Do you know what I mean? I'm content. So,
yeah, it's the most important thing.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Mike, last question what I'd love to finish on. You sat here today, can go back to a 13-year-old you. What would you say to yourself?
13-year-old?
Yeah. Back when you're 13, before everything.
When I was 13, I was a bit of a rebel, to be honest. Yeah, I don't know anything like this was going to happen. 13-year-old, I was cocking my primary school, I was cocking my year, mid-secondary school, I was cocking the school in the third year. I just wanted to be a boxer.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
What would you go back and say to yourself? So a bit of advice. You today can go back to that young you.
I ain't got no regrets, to be honest.
Uh-huh.
I had a good childhood and a good upbringing. The only regret I've got is not finding God earlier in my life. That's the only regret I've got, honestly. Because if I would have found God earlier in my life, but then again, I wouldn't be able to reach and help as many people as I am now.
For your own story.
You know what I mean? But I would recommend getting God in your life sooner the better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it affected my family as well. That's so much, because it shows the ripple effect, don't it?
Of course, yeah.
You know what I mean? And that, you know, that's the only regret I've got is that I find God earlier in my life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Honestly, everything else, you know, we're all learning, aren't we?
Strap yourself in.
But I say we don't lose, we learn.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, I've lost all that money, but I've learned.
Yeah, it's a lesson.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, when you die anyway, you die enough and you can't take it with you. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So, you know, but you can, one thing you do, I say to people, I say, you can either die with nothing and go to hell, or you can die with Jesus and go to heaven. So while you're here on this earth, you've got to decide where you're going.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I've had a spiritual awakening, I've felt the presence of God, I've felt the goodness of God, and I've had the other side of things as well, where I've felt the other things, and I've seen things come out of people, and I've seen things, and I've seen the thing there, the enemy tries to destroy people, and it's which one you're going to yield to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Of course, mate.
My advice is get Jesus in your corner like I did. No matter what you're going through, Lord, you can have everything, but still the benefit of Jesus in the corner.
Yeah. Well, anything else to finish on?
I'd just like to say a little prayer for all the listeners.
Of course.
Father God, thank you for today. Thank you, Lord, and I just pray for all the listeners who are listening. I just hope that it reaches many, many people. And if there's any lost people or broken or addiction or anybody, what's really struggling, Lord, I just pray that they seek the right help and they get the right help that is needed for them. And I just want to pray a blessing over everybody that's watched this today, Lord, and I just pray for everybody that's listened to this. And I hope it has a good ripple effect and touches people. And I hope that everybody gets the help that they need. If there's anybody out there what needs any help, in Jesus' name I pray that. Amen.
Amen. Cheers, Andy. Thank you very much. Bye.
Yes,
thank you.
Thank you for listening to From Rock Bottom. If this episode spoke to you, please subscribe, like and share. It really helps us keep doing this work and bringing these stories to light. You can also follow us on social media for updates, behind the scenes content and ways to get involved in the conversation. Most importantly, if you're struggling right now, please don't suffer in silence. Reach out, talk to someone, seek support. You are not alone, and you are absolutely worth life. Take care, keep fighting, and we'll see you in the next episode.